It was a quiet night in the forest. The sky was full of stars, and the only sound was the wind moving through the trees. A young man named Ethan sat near his small campfire. He was alone, enjoying the peace. He loved coming to the forest on weekends. No phones, no noise. Just nature. Suddenly a strange sound filled the air. It was loud, like a mix of thunder and metal. The ground shook for a second. Birds flew away from the trees, scared. Ethan stood up fast. "What was that?" he said to himself. He looked up. A bright blue light moved across the sky, fast, like a shooting star, but this was not a star. It was something else. Something strange. Then a loud crash came from the forest. Trees cracked. Something big had fallen. Smoke started to rise in the distance. Ethan grabbed his flashlight and ran toward the smoke. His heart beat fast. He didn't know what he would find. Maybe a small plane, maybe something worse. As he got closer, the air smelled like burning metal. The light from his flashlight showed broken trees and a trail of fire. Finally, he saw it. A large, strange object lay on the ground. It looked like a pod, smooth, silver, and glowing. It was broken, but not like anything Ethan had seen before. This was not human. His eyes went wide. "What is this?" he whispered. The pod made soft beeping sounds. Lights blinked. One side had opened like a door. Inside, something was moving. Ethan stepped closer, carefully. He pointed the light inside. A woman, or something that looked like a woman, lay inside. Her skin was silver blue. Her hair floated slightly as if she was underwater. She wore a tight black suit with glowing lines. She was hurt. Badly, greenish-blue blood ran down her arm. Her eyes opened slowly. They glowed softly in the dark. She looked at Ethan. He froze. She looked like no human, but there was fear and pain in her eyes. She opened her mouth. No words came out. Then a soft voice entered his head, not through his ears, but inside his mind. "Help! May!" Ethan stepped back in shock. "Did you talk to me?" he asked, looking around. The alien woman moved her hand weakly. She reached toward him but collapsed again. He wanted to run. This was too much. But something in her eyes stopped him. She was scared. She was alone. She needed help. Ethan took a deep breath. Okay. I'll help you," he said. He reached inside and gently touched her arm. As soon as he did, a strong shock hit his body. He fell back. In a flash, strange images filled his mind. Stars, fire, giant machines, war, screams, and darkness. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Ethan gasped and held his head. "What was that?" he whispered. The woman was still now. Her breathing was slow. The lights inside the pod were fading. Ethan looked around. He had to do something. She would die here. He didn't know who she was or where she came from. But she needed help. He pulled off his jacket and gently covered her. She felt cold. Too cold. With great effort, Ethan lifted her from the pod. She was light, but her body glowed faintly. He carried her back through the trees, moving quickly. The night was dark and full of strange sounds. After 20 minutes, he reached his cabin. It was small but safe. He placed her on the couch and turned on the heater. He looked at her wounds. They didn't look like anything human. He used clean cloth to stop the bleeding. She moved slightly, eyes opening again. This time, her voice came again, soft but stronger. "You, not soldier, no, just Ethan," he replied, unsure if she understood. "You help, thank you." He nodded, confused but calm. "Who are you?" he asked. She closed her eyes again and whispered in his mind. "No time, they are coming." Ethan looked out the window. The forest was quiet again, but the sky felt heavy. He didn't know who they were, but he knew this was only the beginning. Something strange had entered his world, and it had brought danger with it. Ethan locked the cabin door. His hands were shaking. The strange alien woman was still lying on his couch, her silver-blue skin glowing faintly in the dark. She didn't move much. Only her eyes opened sometimes, just for a second, and closed again. Outside, the forest was quiet. Too quiet. Ethan sat near her, watching her chest rise and fall slowly. He had 1,000 questions in his head. Who was she? Where did she come from? What did she mean by, "They are coming," but there were no answers yet? Only silence. Ethan stood up and made warm tea, not sure what else to do. He poured water into a cup and placed it near her. He also brought a wet towel and gently wiped her face. Her skin was smooth, almost like metal, but soft like silk. Suddenly her hand moved. Her eyes opened, glowing brighter than before. "You saved me," she said, but her lips didn't move. The voice was inside Ethan's head again, calm, soft, clear. Ethan stepped back. "You're speaking in my mind?" She nodded slowly. "Your language is hard for my mouth. This is easier." He sat down, still amazed. "Who are you?" "I'm called Kelara," she said. "I am not from your world." Ethan smiled slightly. "Yeah, I figured that part out." Kelara tried to sit up, but pain shot through her body. She winced. "Don't move too much," Ethan said, rushing to help her. "You're hurt badly." "I know," she replied. "The crash damaged my pod and my body?" Ethan gave her some water. She looked at the cup for a moment before taking a small sip. Her eyes softened. "This water, it is clean, warm, kind." Ethan blinked. "It's just water." "No," she said, "it's more than that. You could have left me, but you didn't." Ethan didn't answer. He looked at the floor, unsure what to say. Maybe she was right. He finally asked, "Who were you running from?" Kelara's glow dimmed a little. She looked out the cabin window. "They are called the Exiles. They are not from my planet." "They are not from any planet. They take, they destroy." "I was trying to stop them." Ethan frowned. "Stop them? Alone?" She nodded. "I am a scout, a soldier. My mission was secret. I carried something they wanted." "What is it?" Kelara looked at Ethan carefully. "A beacon. It sends a signal through space. If activated, my people can find me or find this planet." Ethan's eyes widened. "You mean you can call more aliens here?" "Yes," she said. "But not all aliens are good. If the Exiles get the beacon first, they can bring war to your world." Ethan felt cold. "So, Earth is in danger?" She nodded again. "I didn't plan to land. Here, I was shot, I crashed, but now you are involved." Ethan looked at her with confusion. "I'm just a normal guy. I fix machines. I camp. I don't fight wars." Kelara studied him. "You helped a stranger, a dying alien. That means more than you know." Suddenly, a soft beep came from the bag Ethan had taken from her pod. He walked to it, opened the flap, and saw a glowing orb. Small, smooth, and pulsing with light, Kelara's eyes widened. "No! Don't touch that!" But it was too late. Ethan had already picked it up. The moment he touched it, images filled his mind again, faster, brighter this time. Giant ships, planets burning, black-armored creatures, and a girl standing in front of them, holding a blade of light. Kela. Ethan dropped the orb, gasping, "What? What was that?" "My memory," she said quietly. "The orb holds part of me. You saw what I saw. You fought them." "Alone?" She looked away. "I failed. Now I hide." Ethan sat down, still breathing heavily. "Well, you're safe here, for now." Kelara shook her head. "No place is safe if they find the signal." She stood up slowly, still weak, and walked to the window. She looked at the sky. "They hunt me. They can smell the signal's power. They won't stop." Ethan walked beside her. "What do we do then?" Kelara looked at him. Her face was serious. "We hide, we heal, and we prepare." "For what?" She whispered. "For when the sky burns again." Ethan swallowed hard. The night felt colder now. He looked outside, but all he saw were trees. And stars. Still, something deep in his chest told him this peaceful night wouldn't last. Suddenly, Kelara tensed. Her glowing eyes widened. "What is it?" Ethan asked. "They are close," she said. "I feel them. They've landed on Earth." Ethan stepped back. "What? Here?" Kelara nodded. "They don't wait. They don't talk. They destroy." Ethan grabbed his flashlight and a metal rod from his toolbox. "I don't know much about fighting aliens, but I won't let them take you." Kelara looked at him, surprised. A strange light passed over her face. "You are very human," she said. But that might be what saves us all. Outside, far in the forest, a soft, red glow flickered between the trees. The hunters had arrived. The red glow in the forest grew brighter. Ethan stood by the window, holding a flashlight in one hand and a metal rod in the other. His heart was racing. Kelara stood beside him, her silver-blue skin reflecting the cabin light. She was still weak, but her eyes were sharp, glowing brighter than before. "They're here," she said in his mind. Ethan looked out into the trees. He saw nothing yet, just shadows and the glow, blinking like fireflies. But deep down he believed her. "Who are they?" he asked. Kelara's voice echoed in his head, cold and calm. "They are not soldiers, they are hunters. Once they find a scent, they don't stop." "Scent? Like animals?" "Yes, but smarter. They track energy and fear." Ethan turned off the flashlight. "Then we'll give them nothing." Kelara touched her wrist, and a small circle of light formed. In the air, a tiny screen showed a map, the forest, the cabin, and moving red dots coming closer. "There are 3 of them," she said. "Scout class, fast, cruel." Ethan couldn't look away from the screen. "Can we fight them?" "Not head on," she said. "But if we move now, we can hide." "Where?" She pointed to a symbol on the map. "There, a cave beneath the hills. I crashed near it. It has natural shielding. They can't track us inside." Ethan grabbed a bag, stuffed in water, food, and the glowing orb. "Let's go. Can you walk?" Kelara nodded. "Enough to survive." They slipped out the back of the cabin, quiet as the wind. The night air was sharp. The forest, once peaceful, now felt haunted. As they moved between trees, Kelara spoke again in his mind. "You're not afraid." "I am," Ethan replied. "Then you're hiding it well? I don't have time to be afraid." Kelara smiled faintly. Behind them, a loud metallic click echoed through the forest. A shadow passed between trees. Something was following them. They moved faster, branches cracked under their feet. The red glow appeared again, closer now. 1, 2, 3 orbs of light floating above the ground. Shapes followed them. Tall, thin, with armor like black glass and sharp edges. No eyes, no mouth, just a single red slit on each head, glowing like a knife in the dark. "They see us," Kelara said. One of the hunters raised its arm. A blue light shot out, hitting a tree near them. The trunk exploded into splinters. Ethan pulled Kelara down behind a rock. "Okay, that's a bad sign." "We can't stop," she said. "Run." They dashed through the forest. More blue lights cut through the air. Trees fell, dirt flew. The hunters didn't speak. They didn't scream. They just followed, calm, fast, deadly. Finally, they reached the cave. The entrance was narrow, hidden under thick roots. Ethan pushed through first, pulling Kelara behind him. As soon as they entered, the air felt different, quiet, heavy. The sounds outside stopped. The glowing dots on Kelara's screen froze. "They lost us," she whispered. They sat down in the dark, breathing hard. Ethan wiped sweat from his face. "Do they always shoot first?" "They don't shoot," Kelara said. "They erase." Ethan looked around the cave. The walls were smooth, strange. Symbols glowed faintly on the stone. "This place, it's not natural, is it?" Kelara shook her head. "No, it's old, older than my people. We don't know who built it." Ethan touched one of the symbols. It glowed brighter. "I think it likes me." Kelara looked at him, curious. "It responds to your touch." He turned to her. "Why did they want your beacon so badly?" Kelara hesitated. Then she spoke. "The beacon does more than send a signal. It holds memory, history, code. It can rebuild or destroy." "Destroy? What? A planet, a star, a fleet?" Ethan's eyes widened. "You're carrying a super weapon?" "I carry a choice," she said. "In the wrong hands, yes, a weapon. In the right ones, hope." He looked down at his backpack where the orb was hidden. "And you trust me with it?" "I don't know," she said. "But I trust what you've done." They sat in silence. Then Ethan asked, "Why are the exiles chasing you? Just for the beacon?" "No," she said, "because I left them. I was one of them, once." Ethan stood up, stunned. You were. Like them? I was born into their war. Trained to kill, to follow, to obey. But I saw too much, I broke away, now I'm hunted. Ethan stepped back. Do you hate humans? He asked. She looked at him with tired eyes. No, I envy you. You still have kindness, you still have choices. A sudden low sound came from the entrance. A growl, not loud but clear. They found us, Kalara said. Ethan stood beside her. Then let's give them something they don't expect. Asterisk, the sound outside the cave grew louder. It was not footsteps, it was not breathing. It was a slow, mechanical hum, deep and sharp, like a machine hunting in the dark. Ethan and Kalara stood in silence. The glow from the cave walls had dimmed, like even the ancient stones were afraid. Kalara placed her hand on the cave wall. A symbol blinked. A screen appeared again, 3 red dots just outside. They found the entrance, she said. Ethan gripped the metal rod tighter. Can we stop them from getting in? Kalara shook her head. No, but we can prepare. She reached into her suit and pulled out a small silver disc. She touched it, and it unfolded into a glowing device with sharp edges. Then she looked at Ethan. You fought once. You can do it again, Ethan frowned. I fought with a flashlight and luck. Kalara walked toward him. She held out the device. This is a pulse weapon. It reads your hands, your body, your mind. It will respond to you. Ethan took it carefully. The device buzzed softly. Lines of light wrapped around his fingers. The metal rod he was holding melted into the device, reshaping into a glowing staff. He blinked. Whoa. Focus, she said. It will follow your thoughts. Suddenly, a crash echoed through the cave. Dust fell from the ceiling. The exiles had found the entrance. Kalara stepped forward. I will block the signal. You handle the first one. Ethan gave a nervous laugh. Easy. From the shadows, one of the hunters entered. It was taller than Ethan, nearly 7 feet. Its armor was black and jagged, with red cracks glowing across its chest. It had no eyes, no mouth, no voice. But it saw them. The hunter raised its arm. A long blade unfolded from its wrist, glowing with blue fire. Ethan gripped his weapon tight. Okay, buddy, let's dance. The hunter charged. Ethan swung the staff. It lit up as it hit the hunter's arm. Sparks flew. The hunter stumbled but didn't fall. It slashed back. Ethan ducked, rolled, and hit again, this time at the legs. Kalara knelt near the cave wall, touching the orb in her bag. She began, speaking in a strange, silent language. The beacon responded, sending pulses into the stone. A barrier of light slowly formed behind her. The hunter knocked Ethan back. His back hit the cave wall hard. The weapon flew from his hand. The hunter raised its blade again. Before it could strike, a bright blast hit its chest. The hunter flew backward, crashing into the rocks. Ethan looked up. Kalara stood there, holding a glowing shard. Next time, keep your weapon. Ethan grabbed the staff again. Thanks. Another hunter entered the cave, then a third. All 3 now stood in front of them. Kalara's eyes narrowed. We can't beat them here. We need to leave. But how? They're blocking the only way out. Kalara pressed the orb again. The cave wall behind her shook, then opened, revealing a hidden tunnel. This way, she shouted. Ethan and Kalara ran into the tunnel. The hunters followed, fast and silent. As they moved through the tunnel, Kalara placed small discs behind. The remote traps buy us time. The discs exploded as the hunters passed, slowing them down. The tunnel opened into a deep underground chamber. In the center stood an old alien machine covered in dust and vines. It looked dead until Kalara touched it. The machine lit up with blue and green light. A soft humming began. The walls of the chamber started to shift, revealing hidden tech. What is this place? Ethan asked. Kalara looked around. An outpost, a forgotten one, built long ago by a peaceful race. It may be our only chance. The hunters arrived. At the edge of the chamber, one jumped in, but this time Ethan was ready. He swung the staff with full force. The energy from the weapon hit the hunter's chest, breaking its armor. The hunter screamed, a horrible, high-pitched sound and fell. The second hunter fired a blue blast at Kelara, but she ducked and activated the machine's defense. A barrier blocked the blast. Ethan charged the last one. He moved with instinct, the weapon guiding him. He dodged 2 strikes and hit the hunter's arm, then its knee. Sparks flew. Finally, Kelara raised both hands. The machine responded. A bright light burst out from the center. The remaining hunters stopped moving, frozen in place. Then their bodies shattered into dust. Silence returned. Ethan fell to his knees, breathing hard. Are they gone? For now, Kelara said. But more will come. Ethan looked at her. Why me? Why not find someone trained? Someone stronger? Kelara smiled. Because you don't fight for power. You fight because you care. That is rare. Ethan sat beside her, tired but alive. So what now? She looked at the orb, now glowing brighter than ever. Now. We prepare to send a message, a warning, or a call for help. She turned to Ethan, but once we send it, everything will change. The ancient chamber was quiet now. The light from the alien machine had faded into a soft blue glow. Dust floated in the air like slow snow. Ethan sat on the cold floor, breathing heavily. Kelara stood beside him, her silver blue skin marked with small burns, but her eyes were calm. They were alive. But only just, you did well, Kelara said softly, her voice still in his mind. Ethan wiped sweat from his face. I almost died. Yes, but you didn't, he laughed weakly. Not. The most comforting words I've ever heard. Kelara turned back to the machine. The orb, now placed in the machine's core, pulsed like a heartbeat. It's ready, she said. The signal can be sent. Ethan stood slowly. Wait, you said this signal could bring your people. But you also said it could destroy? She nodded. The beacon has 2 codes. One is a call for help. The other is a final strike, a planet-wide burst. If the exiles take this world, it can stop them, but Earth would fall with them. Ethan stared at her. You're carrying a suicide button? Kelara didn't answer right away. When I left my people, I stole the beacon. I was ordered to destroy it. I believed it could save someone, somewhere. Ethan walked closer, eyes locked on hers. And now you're thinking about using it here? I don't want to, she said. But if the exiles return in full force, there will be no other way. Ethan paced the chamber. So those are the only options? Call your people and risk bringing more war, or destroy everything. Kelara looked at the orb. No, there's one more. Ethan raised an eyebrow. What? Kelara's voice dropped lower. I give the beacon to someone who still believes in peace. Someone not shaped by war, Ethan blinked. You mean me? She nodded slowly. I have seen your thoughts. Your pain, your memories. You are not perfect, Ethan, but you care. Even when it's hard, that makes you rare. Ethan sat down. Again, the weight of the moment filled the air like a storm. I fix broken engines. I live alone. I don't lead armies. But you helped a stranger when no one asked you to, Kelara said. That's leadership. Suddenly the orb glowed brighter. The machine hummed. They found us again, she said. Too fast. They're adapting. Ethan stood up, panicked. Then we run. Kelara shook her head. No, this place is our last defense, but it won't last long. She walked to a console and began pressing symbols. The walls lit up. A new tunnel opened behind them. Go, she said. What? No, I'm not leaving you. Kelara looked at him with sad eyes. You are the key now. Take the beacon, hide it. Use it only if there's no other choice. Ethan's hands curled into fists. You keep asking me to be brave. But all I see is you staying behind, ready to die. Kelara reached into the machine. The orb lifted into the air. It floated toward Ethan and gently dropped into his hands. The glow softened. It trusts you, she said. He looked at the orb. Warmth passed through his fingers. He felt her memories again, but now they mixed with his own, his family. His losses, his hopes. The orb was learning him. Go, she repeated. No, he said, not without you. Kelara smiled for the first time. I was alone in the stars for a long time. I thought I would die alone. But you changed that. Ethan's voice shook. We can both make it. There's still time. She touched his shoulder. Sometimes, saving a world means letting go of one person. That's the price. The sound of metal grinding filled the chamber. The exiles were cutting through the walls. Ethan turned toward the escape tunnel, then looked back at her. You're making a mistake. No, she said. I'm giving you a chance. With a flash of light, she pushed him back. A force field rose between them. Ethan slammed his fists against it. Kelara! She stepped back, face calm. Live well, Ethan, and when you look at the stars, remember me. The wall behind him closed. Darkness. Ethan screamed. He hit the wall. But it was done. He was alone. Moments later, the ancient chamber above shook. Light burst through cracks in the earth. A pulse of blue energy shot into the sky. Far above the forest, Kelara had made her stand. Hours passed. Ethan sat in silence at the edge of a hill. The orb rested in his lap, its glow now quiet, steady, almost peaceful. He looked at the stars. One blinked brighter than the rest. He whispered, I remember you. Ethan walked through the forest alone. The trees whispered around him. Leaves crunched under his boots. The stars above were cold and silent. It had been 3 days since the chamber exploded with blue light. 3 days since Kelara stayed behind, and still no one believed him. He had tried. He went to the nearest town. He told people what he saw, but they laughed. Some thought he was crazy. Some said he'd been out in the woods too long, the military. However, did not laugh. They came quietly, no sirens, no warning, 2 black SUVs, 3 men in suits, and 1 woman in a gray coat who didn't speak at all. They took Ethan without a fight. Now he sat in a cold metal room somewhere underground. No windows. Just a single light and a metal table. The orb sat on the table. Between them, the woman in the gray coat finally spoke. This object doesn't match any known material on Earth. Ethan said nothing. It is intelligent, she continued. It pulses to your voice, your touch. Why? Ethan leaned back in his chair. Because it knows I won't give it to people like you. Her face didn't change. She slid a folder across the table. Inside were pictures, burnt trees, shattered rock. Strange energy readings from the crash site. Kelara's final stand. We detected a powerful energy surge in that area, the woman said. Enough to be seen by satellites. We believe someone or something helped you survive. Ethan stared at the photos. Her name was Kelara. He said softly. The woman nodded. An alien. Ethan looked up, surprised. You believe me now? We knew something entered orbit, she said. But we were waiting to see who it contacted first. Ethan's jaw tightened. She wasn't a threat. She was not human, the woman replied. Does that mean she didn't deserve kindness? The woman stayed silent for a moment. Then she stood up and walked to the door. You're free to go, she said. But leave the orb. Ethan stood too. No. Mr. Shaw, you don't understand it, he said. It's not a weapon. It's a memory. A message. It chose me. The woman looked at him carefully. Then you understand the risk, Ethan nodded. Yes, and I'll carry it anyway. Later they dropped him off outside his old cabin. It was mostly burned now, nothing but ash and metal. Still, it felt like home. Ethan sat on a rock, the orb glowing faintly in his hands. You're still with me, he whispered. Suddenly, a soft hum came from behind. He turned. A man stood there, tall, thin, with glowing eyes like Kelara's. But he wasn't one of the exiles. He looked older, wiser. Don't be afraid, the man said. I'm not here to hurt you. Who are you? My name doesn't matter, the man said, but I knew Kelara. I felt her last signal. Ethan stood up slowly. She didn't make it, he said. The man nodded. She knew the cost. Ethan held up the orb. She gave me this. No, the man said. That's why I'm here. He walked closer, his boots silent on the grass. You stand between 2 worlds now, Ethan. Earth. And the stars, Ethan frowned. I didn't ask for that. No one ever does, the man replied. But the beacon chose you. Ethan looked at the orb. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. Learn, the man said. Listen. Prepare for what? The man's face turned serious. The exiles are not finished. The fight Kalara tried to stop is coming. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next year, but soon. Ethan sighed. So, I'm some kind of guardian now? The man gave a small smile, something like that. But you won't be alone. He handed Ethan a small device, flat, dark, with a silver edge. When the time comes, the man said, this will connect you to others like you. People across worlds, fighters, thinkers, dreamers, humans, and not. Ethan took the device. It's all real, he whispered. Yes, the man said. And it's only beginning. Then the man stepped back. A soft light wrapped around him. A shape formed in the air, a ship, small and sleek. Hovering without sound, he looked at Ethan one last time. Kalara believed in you? So do I. Then he was gone. The ship vanished into the sky like a falling star in reverse. That night, Ethan sat by the ashes of his cabin. He looked up at the stars. He was no longer just a mechanic, no longer just a man lost in the woods. He was something else now, a bridge between worlds. A keeper of memory, a protector of hope. And somewhere among those stars he knew Kalara was watching. The forest was quiet again. Weeks had passed since Kalara's final stand. Ethan had rebuilt part of his cabin with scrap and wood. It wasn't much, but it was enough. He still lived alone. But he was no longer the same man. Each night he sat under the stars, holding the orb in his hands. It no longer pulsed with urgency. Now it pulsed gently, like a calm heartbeat. Sometimes it whispered to him memories from faraway planets, songs from forgotten worlds, and once a soft voice that sounded just like her. Ethan, he always listened, always hoping to hear her again. One evening, the orb changed. It glowed brighter, steady and warm, then lifted from his hands. A beam of light shot up into the sky, quiet and clean, disappearing into the stars. Ethan stood, heart pounding. What is it doing? A voice answered, not from the orb, but from behind him. It is calling, but not for war. Ethan turned. The woman from the government, the one in the gray coat, stood there again. This time, she wasn't alone. A group of people stood beside her, scientists, soldiers, and one boy, no older than 15, holding a tiny blue crystal. I thought you wanted the orb, Ethan said. I did, she replied. But now I understand. It's not just alien tech, it's a test. Ethan raised an eyebrow. A test? Yes, to see what humans do when we find something greater than ourselves. She looked at the sky, and you passed. Suddenly the sky shifted. Not with clouds, but with light. Dozens of glowing lines moved across the stars, slowly forming a pattern. Then a ship appeared, not like any Earth ship. This one moved like a living thing, its surface flowing like water, silent and beautiful. It descended just above the trees, floating. Ethan and the others stepped back. The orb rose into the air and stopped between them and the ship. A voice filled the air, deep, gentle, and echoing in every mind. The signal has been received. The Guardian has spoken. A beam of light came down from the ship and gently wrapped around the orb. But it didn't pull it away. Instead it formed a second shape, a figure. Tall, elegant, glowing. A form Ethan knew well. Kalar. She stepped forward slowly, her body no longer weak, no longer wounded. Her silver blue skin glowed softly and her eyes were kind. Ethan couldn't move. Kalara? She smiled. A part of me was saved in the orb. My final thoughts, my memories. You carried me through the darkness. Ethan stepped forward. I thought you were gone. I was, she said. But I became something more. A message, a voice, a beginning. Tears formed in Ethan's eyes. You came back. For one last moment, she said, to give you what you earned. She turned to the others. You are not alone in the universe. There are others watching, waiting, hoping you will rise, not fall. The boy with the crystal stepped forward. Are you an alien? Kalara knelt in front of him. I was. Now I am something else, but so are you. The ship above pulsed again, releasing small lights like fireflies. They floated through the trees, touching people gently. The woman in gray watched them closely. "What is this?" "A gift," Kalara said. "Knowledge, peace, a path forward if you choose it." Ethan looked at the lights. One touched his hand and sank into his skin. It was warm. "What now?" he asked. Kalara looked at him one last time. "Now you build. Not weapons, but bridges. You teach others what you've learned. And when the stars call again, you answer not with fear, but with hope." Ethan took a deep breath. "I'll try." "You'll do more than try," she said. "You already have." The orb floated back to Ethan. The ship began to rise. Kalara's image started to fade. Ethan reached out. "Wait!" She touched his hand. "I was never alone. Because of you." Then, like smoke and sunlight, she was gone. The ship rose silently and vanished into the sky, leaving behind nothing but light. Later, the group stood around Ethan's cabin. The world felt different. No news stations showed the ship. No cameras captured the moment. But those who were there would never forget. The woman in gray approached Ethan. "You could have kept it secret." "But you didn't?" Ethan nodded. "Kalara didn't come here for war. She came here to see who we really are." "And what did she see?" Ethan looked at the stars. Hope. That night, Ethan stood alone again, but not lonely. In his hands was the orb, in his heart, a memory. In the sky, a future waiting to begin. He whispered into the stars, "I'll be ready."